Hey guys, welcome to my review for Mob Psycho 100. This is a comedic supernatural action manga that was serialized in Ura Sunday Comics from 2012 to 2017, and it was brought to us by the man simply known as One. Mob Psycho 100 takes place in the fictional Japanese city of Seasoning City, and it stars our young protagonist Shigeo Kageyama. Now Kageyama, and I swear to God I must have started like 10 reviews off saying this, is kind of a loser. You know, like he's boring, he's uninteresting, he's not expressive, he doesn't have any friends. He's also earned the nickname of Mob, meaning someone who's, you know, uninteresting, forgettable, and they just blend into the crowd. But of course, Mob is still human, and he's just like many of us. He attends middle school, he's an anxiety-filled bag of hormones, he's crushing on this girl he wants to ask out but can never build up the courage, and he has a younger brother who's quite fond of him. The one thing that sets Kageyama apart is that he is an Esper. He has psychic abilities. These psychic abilities range from being able to bend spoons to some like apocalyptic what the fuck nonsense. These powers are tied to his emotions. If he gets super angry, super sad, his powers tend to become uncontrollable. So for that reason, he suppresses his emotions. This is why he acts so lame all the time, why he seems so boring. Because he knows that his powers are dangerous. He doesn't want to harm anyone, he's a very good-natured kid, so he just shuts them away inside himself. Problem with that though is you shut your emotions away, eventually they build up and build up and build up, and then you can probably imagine what happens next. Somewhere else in Seasoning City, you have Reigen Arataka. Reigen is an interesting man. He runs a psychic consulting business. People come to him with, you know, supernatural type problems. Their house is haunted, they're being possessed, someone put a curse on them. And Reigen uses his powers to do his best to try to get rid of these people's problems. A bigger problem though is that Reigen isn't a psychic at all. He's actually a massive fraud, and he only does this to weed money out of gullible people. But all that changes when he meets Kageyama. He realizes like, oh shit, this kid is actually a psychic. And since then he has been paying Kageyama 300 yen an hour to come and work with him, go on assignments, and, you know, exercise some ghosts. So, you know, things are pretty normal. Mob goes about his days, he goes to school, he goes and works for this crazy con man. And of course, Kageyama, who still believes that Reigen is like this all-powerful master psychic, starts to look to him as a mentor. And it goes like that for quite a while, until some more Espers start to show up, because Mob, of course, is not the only one. Some of these Espers are friendly, and some of them, nope. So of course, things get crazy. We get a bunch of story arcs of a bunch of new baddies showing up, and Mob has to save the day. And yeah, from there you have a very, very enjoyable battle manga that I had a ton of fun with. A lot of these story arcs are very well told, they're very creatively set up. One really like ups the ante with each individual arc. Like after I finish an arc, I'm always like, that was fucking insane. How is he gonna top this? And then he does, and then he tops it again and again and again. It's absolutely nuts, some of the things that happen in this series. We meet a lot of Espers with a lot of crazy powers, and it's all done so extremely well. But you know, aside from all of the big crazy action battle arcs, yes, you also have a lot of small arcs that focus on maybe Mob's school life, or maybe him going on some assignments with Reigen. These are nice breaks from the big story arcs and also give us some nice comedy. I did mention that this is a comedic series, and yeah, it is very comedic and ridiculous. That is a good thing though, because this series is fucking hilarious at times. All of the characters are just so goofy that they play off each other very well. Some of the scenarios are just so stupid, but they're so much fun. There's one moment in particular, it's in the second last arc. If you've read it, you know what I'm talking about, but it was fucking hilarious. This manga pulls off comedy so well. So when discussing action and comedy, you can really easily compare Mob Psycho to One's other work, One Punch Man. But there is definitely something that sets Mob Psycho apart from One Punch Man. While One Punch Man is pretty much straight up a gag manga, it's a parody, a satire of other battle manga, Mob Psycho might be full of over-the-top action and comedy, but it also has a few things to say. This series does have a much more serious side to it that it rarely shows itself, but when it does, it can pull off some really, really powerful stuff. There's a lot of emotional moments in the series, a lot of fantastic character development, and it explores a lot of themes very well. Way better than I was expecting going into this. And it all led to a conclusion that I found to be absolutely fantastic. So with that, let's talk about some of these characters who really make this series fantastic. Kageyama is he's such a wholesome boy. Like seriously, he's such a good kid, and you feel so bad for him. You're like, oh man, oh you're such a loser. What you're so nice. Seeing his growth throughout the series is awesome, because like I said at the start, he doesn't have any friends at all. all. But early on in the series, you see he's forced to join a school club. He has to start socializing with people. And the relationships he makes with some of these characters is pretty fantastic. And some of his side characters are really great too. That's another thing, like pretty much every great character in the series has their time to shine, as minor as they may be. Reagan is another absolutely fantastic character. I mean, he's a dick. He's a massive dick. He's a con artist. He's made all of his money from lying. But as you learn more about him, he does become a lot more sympathetic. You start to feel bad for him and the situation he's in. And the relationship between him and Mob is so good. It's so goddamn wholesome. I love it. Their adventures together really make up the heart of this series, and it's just so enjoyable. There's a lot of other interesting characters too. You have Dimple, who is an evil spirit who tags along with them most of the ride. At first, he's just like a side character, comic relief thing, but as the series go on, they start to do really interesting things with him that I wasn't expecting at all, so I ended up really enjoying his character near the end. You also have Ritsu, Kageyama's younger brother. He also plays a big role in the series, another really fantastic character. You have Hanazawa, who is a student from a rival school who also has psychic abilities, and his whole character arc is stemmed from like an early rivalry he has with Mob that got off to a fantastic start throughout the whole series. It's so well done. Another very good character. I'm starting to sense a pattern here. All of these characters are fucking amazing. That's not even mentioning the villains. This series has some nasty villains, man. I don't think they are as interesting as our heroes. I kind of would have liked to spend a bit more time with them, but overall, man, really fantastic cast of characters. And I didn't even scratch the surface, man. Like, there's so many more like student characters, Esper characters. Beautiful job. What's not that entirely beautiful though is the art of Mob Psycho 100. So if there's anything one is known for besides creating some fantastic stories, is that his art capabilities are kind of shit, at least compared to, almost any other professional manga. So going into this, I kind of knew what I was expecting. I was expecting some whatever the fucks. It's sloppy, man, especially at the start. I like all the character designs, but they all do look pretty whack at times. In fact, probably most of the time. Like, the big thing is just like, things change shape all the time. Like, heads always look different, noses are huge sometimes, hands look weird. And it definitely put me off at first. I'm like, oh man, this looks whack. Why can't it look as good as the anime? But then something interesting happened. It took me a few volumes, but I eventually realized that one is kind of a badass. Contrary to what online discussions will have you believe, he's not actually a bad artist at all. The one thing that remains consistent from the start is that it's clear that he has a grasp on art. Like, he knows what he's doing. Perspective looks good. He knows how to draw people. They don't have like arms coming out of their necks or something. He's good at paneling and composition and shading. He's just really good at drawing action, even if the characters sometimes look a bit off. Everything is really easy to understand, fun to read, and there are some parts of this series that genuinely look fantastic, which was a nice treat because I really wasn't expecting this manga to look good at all. So the fact that it actually does look really good in parts was really cool to me. So if he can be such a good artist, why does so much of this manga look whack? I honestly think it's because he doesn't care. And to be honest, I don't really care either. The story, the characters, the dialogue are what really pushes this series forward, what makes it amazing. And the thing about manga is that it does take a long ass time to make. Not everyone has it in them to produce like 20 pages of fantastic art every week. So to me, it seems very likely that one basically rushed the shit out of this. He's like, all right, here we go. Here's all the characters. Now I can focus on like the few really good panels. Honestly, you want to get your story out quicker without working yourself to death? I mean, there you go. But like, I mean, it's still not the best, and there are definitely times where I'm like, okay, yeah, that looks pretty bad. Come on, one. At least make his nose look a bit nicer. So honestly, I'm not really that hard on it. I think this series has the potential to look really good, and when it doesn't look good, it doesn't really matter because it's still a blast to read. So those are my thoughts on Mob Psycho 100. If you couldn't tell, I absolutely love this series. It's definitely one of my favorite action manga because it blends so many things together well with its fight scenes, its action, its character development, its themes. It's all just super well done, and I'm giving this one a 9 out of 10. So you want to read this for yourself? Yeah, that's right, sluts. We got the mark of Satan here. Mob Psycho 100 is being published in English by Dark Horse Comics. So, rip. This series is being released so incredibly slowly that it's gonna take like 6 more years. for this whole thing. It's only 16 volumes, right? They're releasing them so slowly. Like, I think volume 4 is coming out in January. We're only on volume 4. What the fuck? I don't know what's taking them so long, but, well, whatever. Alternatively, you can check out the anime. While I thought the manga was just short of being a masterpiece, I believe that the anime actually is. It does such a fantastic job translating this manga into motion, but when it comes to all the things that are exclusive to anime, like animation, voice acting, soundtrack, it's all unbelievably superb. Like, the first 2 seasons of Mob Psycho 100 are easily some of the best anime I have ever seen. So yeah, you really can't go wrong with the Mob Psycho anime at all. The only problem is that it's not complete. They still have a few volumes left of content to adapt. Now, I've heard people say like, oh, you can't fit the 10 final chapters into a full season. Well, those people saying that haven't actually read the manga, because the last 10 chapters are like 100 pages each. I don't know what the fuck was going on there, but So there actually is enough content for a full 3rd season, and I really hope we get one, because the final stuff is also some of the best content in the manga. And of course, there is a Netflix live action series. Why the fuck did they do this? I have no idea. But that'll do it. Thank you all so much for watching. You can leave your thoughts on Mob Psycho in the comments below, and I'll see you all soonish, hopefully, for my review of Tokyo Ghoul Re. But it's also been so long since I reviewed the original series that I'm going to be reviewing Tokyo Ghoul and Tokyo Ghoul Re together, so yeah, whatever, I'll see you then.
For everyone is lost vision, maybe you can be what you want to be. You look or be, and I